But being ever the optimist, I know that after the speech, if it doesn't go well, you're going to run straight out this door to the 4Sight stall where you're going to implement HR and AI solutions so that you never get yourself in a situation like this. Those solutions are very robust, you can trust me. Okay. So Duncan, you asked the question. XFour's outlook on HR technology is rooted in a simple belief. HR is no longer about process management. It's about human enablement. The systems that we implement are not only there to capture data, it's there to unlock potential. And what that potential looks like varies from person to person. Okay. So for us, innovation is a keyword at 4Sight and at XFour. And just earlier this month, Joel Mokyr, Peter Howard, and Philippe Aghion were awarded the Nobel Prize in Economics for the research done on innovation-driven growth. What this research proves is that businesses can obtain tangible advantages by implementing a process they call creative destruction, and that the pace of innovation is increasing exponentially. Now that sounds great. New innovation means new opportunities, but it also comes at a risk. Innovation is no longer only for the eclectic CEO or the entrepreneur trying to capture a competitive advantage. It's now becoming a prerequisite to remain competitive. This creates different kinds of business challenges. For example, the ability for business to generate consumer value is becoming more and more elusive. In the past, the formula for consumer value was simple and comprised out of only two constituents: the utility of the good or service you are trying to sell and the price. Today, that is a much more complex calculation. Allow me to illustrate with an example. Take Amazon, the e-commerce business, not the cloud platform business. If they sell a product, they've implemented a new initiative called Amazon Prime. For a small monthly subscription, a consumer can now receive free same-day delivery. That is a logistic and operational miracle. If you compare that with Takealot, let's say you order the same book on Takealot or on Amazon. The price is going to be exactly the same because in these high volume, low margin businesses, there's no room to negotiate on price, and the utility of the good is exactly the same. But the experience and the interaction with the Amazon brand is so much more richer. So much so that Takealot is forced to implement a similar initiative. But now both these businesses are spending millions of rands on extra operational fees without enhancing the utility of the good or decreasing the price for consumers. It's becoming the new norm to compete. And why is this possible? Simply due to the rate of innovation in technology and the adoption thereof. To give you an idea about technology adoption, it took the world's most popular streaming service, Netflix, 3.5 years to reach 1 million subscribers. The world's most popular social media platform, Instagram, took only 2.5 months. ChatGPT took a mere 5 days. But this is very interesting, and what does it have to do with HR? Well, Amazon need 1.5 million employees to run their services globally. They reached this number in 2021 and has remained largely consistent, despite being on the forefront of AI, automation, and robotics. It just goes to show you can augment human capabilities with technology, but you cannot replace it. Why? Because humans create high-touch, high-trust engagement. And for your business to have that, you need only two things. One, excellent people and HR solutions. Systems that streamline processes and provide information accurately and with empathy. But you're in luck, because 4Sight has been a leader in this technology space for the last 2 decades. Duncan, will you enlighten us on some examples where you've taken human data and created meaningful human experiences?
Thanks, Clark. I know it was mentioned earlier about HR and CVs and what have you. And one of the things that we found within 4Sight is you send out an advert. Whether that advert's fit for purpose is beside the point, but you still send out the advert. You then receive hundreds, if not thousands, of CVs for those job applications. Within 4Sight, we developed a product called 4Talent that allows us to utilize AI to extract data from those CVs, whether they're submitted via email, LinkedIn, whatever platform is being utilized. It then sorts that data and matches it to the relevant jobs. It then gives you a list of the top 5 candidates that fit those positions. This allows then your recruitment staff to not have to wade through paperwork after paperwork after paperwork. It gives them the accurate data, what they're looking for. However, what it does in addition to this is it takes all the other CVs and highlights where they would fit in with other jobs in the business, highlighting where there's missing data, where potentially it could be a mismatch due to insufficient data being provided. This allows us to match people and attract the top candidates and interview only the relevant people for positions. The other thing that we've developed is called 4Pulse. 4Pulse is an internal survey that we use. It's to allow us to assess employee feelings within the company. We've been running this 4Pulse for the last 4 years. I know, 4Sight 4, everything seems to start with 4. But we've been running it for 4 years. Initially, when we did this process, we had to employ an auditor to take 4 weeks in order to assess the data, compile a report, give the information back to management. What we now do, utilizing AI, we're able to assess that data, provide the report in a user-friendly manner within 2 days. Also, we are linking that to an AI engine that allows us to ask questions on that report so that we can get, as management, instantaneous feedback. It's all done anonymously, so there's no, people are able to express their true views, but it allows us to compile all of this in a nice, user-friendly way, making the management response times a lot quicker. Anyone knows within any business, 4 weeks is a long time to assess a problem. It escalates from being a minor irritation to a huge issue in the space of a couple of hours. This allows us to work through all of that and make things a lot easier. Clark, I know that from your side, there's obviously a lot of integration and technology that XFour's done. I don't know if you want to add to that.
Yes, I was speaking to Dr. Sean Creer earlier, who will be a panelist later, and we just touched on how important it is to bring practicality to these sessions. And I just want to leave you with 3 very practical things, how businesses like 4Sight and XFour can add value to your organization. So the first is we believe in best-of-breed software. Companies like Sage, Microsoft, SAP, Oracle, these people invest R&D budgets larger than our revenue on these specific products. So we trust them to deliver best-of-breed solutions. But the model in the market, which some people are unfamiliar with, is they deliver the solutions and they partner with business partners like XFour and 4Sight that focus on making sure you implement the correct solution and that solution does what your business needs it to do. This is the partner model, and if you've done it like us with Sage and you do it successfully, you reach a platinum status, which both XFour and 4Sight are. But here's the additional value add that we can do. These large corporates that deliver this best-of-breed software, they deliver monolithic solutions, which means that there's a form of rigidity and structural inertia embedded into these products. For agile businesses like yourselves, wanting to implement HR processes that add value to your staff is often not accommodated in the standard functionality. What we do at XFour is we implement what we call a rapid application development platform called X1, where we introduce bespoke functionality where your process gets embedded into that system natively via integrations. As an example, consider onboarding. Some solutions, standard HR solutions, do not contain onboarding. X1 has an onboarding module with what we call dynamic employee flows. This allows you to set up everything from induction to your equipment being provided, to which offices or campuses the staff need to visit, to tick boxes that need to happen in a full workflow functionality that once the employee is onboarded is integrated into your main solution. The other and probably most vital aspect is employee engagement. And I say employee engagement, I mean bi-directional engagement. If you think of the South African economy and even the global economy, a lot of employees are deskless workers. Think of miners, construction workers, doctors and nurses, servers and waiters, retail workers, delivery drivers for Amazon. A lot of these people do not sit behind a desk, but these are the people that you need to reach with HR probably the most. What we found in our own anecdotal experience, as well as via the research, is that even if your solution has an employee self-service app that has a mobile component, employees are reluctant to download another app. The research calls it app fatigue. How we've bridged this gap is to implement a solution called RocketSlip. It utilizes a platform the employees use every single day, which is WhatsApp. It started with an initiative to distribute payslips to any employee, anytime, anywhere, but has subsequently grown to include HR functionality like leave applications and approvals, permit expiries and performance documents, including the capability for employee to sign for documents on WhatsApp. It even now contains an LMS, which one of our restaurant franchisees are using to train staff while they are in the move or on the restaurant. It includes videos to show how to serve the table so that there's a uniform experience across all restaurants. And another example for the cooks is how to plate sushi. There's a video of placing the chopsticks perpendicular to one another, 4 pieces at the top, 4 pieces at the bottom, where the wasabi goes. There is minimal barriers to entry and training required. And that is the future that we are moving to make HR more accessible to all employees.
And that's exactly the kind of innovation we were looking for when we brought XFour into the 4Sight group. Practical, people-first technology that makes digital transformation real for everyday people. From our side, we've been incredibly powerful to see how RocketSlips and X1 slot perfectly into the 4Sight broader ecosystem. As a JSE-listed company, we sit across multiple verticals, from operational technologies in manufacturing and mining to business environment solutions in finance, supply chain, and HR. This gives us a unique end-to-end view of how data flows from an organization, from sensors on factory floors to transactions in ERP systems, to insights in HR dashboards. And here's the exciting part. When you connect these dots, you really get to see people data in a completely new light. Imagine being able to correlate employee well-being matrix with performance efficiency, or linking training data to safety outcomes, or using predictive analytics to identify skills gaps before they affect delivery. That's the future that we are building at 4Sight. A performance driver fueled by real-time intelligence. Internally, we don't just say, we do. As our CEO, Tertia Ziska, often says, we drink our own champagne. It's not a case of just selling a product. We sell a solution, and we include internal processes to ensure that we get the right results. This helps us to get faster decision-making, reduced admin overheads, and measurable upliftment in employee satisfaction. Ultimately, this is what makes the partnership with XFour so exciting. XFour has done incredibly well over the last few years with growth. So Clark, what drew you to join 4Sight?
So, excellent question, Duncan, because letting go of your business, which is like letting go of your baby, is it's a big decision to make. But I want to share that slide with the audience, if we can get it on. This is what changed me to say I want to connect my business to 4Sight. And if you look at that first bubble there, it says no site. And you would be surprised to know that many businesses operate without any HR or payroll or accounting solutions. They use Excel. And these businesses have no site. They've got no idea what's going on in their businesses. Then you get businesses that implement an HR payroll solution and they capture data as it happens, which means they've got hindsight. They can see what has happened in the business. Then you get to businesses that start plugging in analytics onto this data, to understand why things are happening. And these businesses have insight. And then you get businesses that take this analytics and start comparing it to competitors, to market trends, and the likes, to start making decisions by looking forward instead of looking at your historical data. And then this was the part that intrigued me the most, and that is for AI. The dictionary definition of AI is artificial intelligence. But I don't like that definition at all, because nothing about it is artificial. The impact certainly isn't. At 4Sight, 4AI stands for automated intelligence. And that is going to automate the monotonous tasks of your workers, and in my opinion, transition the knowledge worker to the wisdom worker, where they can start adding value at a high level without worrying about the monotonous tasks at the end.
Sure. And just, I'm going to wrap up now because we're getting lovely red signs on the board here. I just want to say, at the end of the day, the goal of technology isn't to replace people. It's to elevate them. And when you combine data, AI, and human insight, your organization truly achieves 4Sight. Thanks, everyone.